Thank you so very much for joining us. And this is still Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. To our main conversation for today, where we have it that Nigeria's political landscape faces a crucial test as voters participate in major elections across the country. In the Federal Capital Territory, the influence of Nyesom Wike is being closely watched as he works to deliver victory for the All Progressive Congress in the nation's capital. The elections are widely viewed as an early political rehearsal for the 2027 general elections. At the same time, key by-elections are taking place in Rivers State and Kano. In Kano, a political rivalry has intensified between Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and his former ally and in-law, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, as both camps compete for control of two vacant state assembly seats. The elections are the first conducted under the Electoral Act 2026 and involve large voter participation. The Independent National Electoral Commission reported that about 1.59 million voters are expected to vote across Abuja 6 area councils with a high PVC collection rate of over 94%. Let's get talking. We'll still have His Greatness Agadaigo. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being there for us.
Thank you very much. Yes. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you so well. Barrister, let's get talking on this dress rehearsal for the 2027 general elections with Abuja, FCT, and the Rivers State. But let's concentrate on Abuja now. You are a card-carrying member of the PDP. How does it feel that the PDP has no candidate vying for any of the local government area councils because of the feud, political tension between the Makinde faction and the Nyesom Wike faction?
Well, it's okay. It's not as if PDP was about to pull any serious upsets. I don't really see that happening because...
Why do you not see that happening? Because there were candidates with the PDP already that had no opportunity of continuing because of the issue they have with their party. It's not like they weren't popular. It's not like they weren't doing so well, but because of the political tension in the party, that had disenfranchised them.
No, the truth about the whole thing is that this election, this by-election, is actually going to be a referendum on the new INEC chairman, Joash Amopiton. That's what we are going to use to even assess him. We are going to assess the promises he has made, the pedigree that has been touted in public space that he has, and then his capacity in improving our electoral system in terms of ensuring free, fair, and credible election. And it will give us a clear idea of what we should expect in the 2027 general elections. And I'm sure that's what every member of PDP is watching out for. We are not even watching who will actually win or lose. We are just watching of how, let's see the chairman, what the chairman will bring to the table. Whether the chairman will be able to remove INEC from the impression the former chairman gave Nigerians that INEC is an annex of the APC political party, or INEC is now a truly independent agency of government prepared to conduct free, fair, and credible election. That is the real take we are going to take from the happenings, the going-ons, and the eventual results of all the elections, both Abuja, Rivers State, and Kano, that will be conducted today. Because to tell you the truth, now based on what a lawyer from Kogi State and SCN, based on his confidence in Joash Amopiton, I was really having confidence in Joash Amopiton. But when Joash Amopiton first of all refused to recognize the Turaki leadership, that one created some caution about his neutrality, because usually once any political party leadership or any winner in an election has been sworn in. You recognize them until the court rules otherwise, but he did not do that. That was my first upset.
But the court has done that already in several instances, because it alleged that there were no free and fair election, there were no equality and participation with the Makinde faction of the PDP when they had their delegate coming together to allow for Turaki. So the court has granted that several times, don't you think so?
Usually, it's just like in Rivers State now, who conducted local government elections during state of emergency. Even if the court rules and sacks them, they will still be there until the final court will say otherwise. That's how it is done. I'm sure you know, during Tinubu's election, there was glitch of the e-transmission of the result, which was a serious issue. But they still allowed Tinubu to be sworn in, despite the glitch. And his election challenged until the highest court will say the election was faulty. That's how it is done. But for him to start taking sides, so once they are sworn in, you recognize the Turaki section, give them all rights and privileges until the cases in Court of Appeal and finally Supreme Court decides otherwise. But Joashamoku Peter, who is a senior lawyer, refused to do that. That was my first concern about his leadership. Then my second and more worrying concern was when he now invited a caretaker committee to represent PDP. Caretaker committee that was put together within 24 hours. Caretaker committee that was not put together by NEC. Caretaker committee that no 21 days notice was sent to INEC before it was brought together. And of course, we know that literally PDP's constitution has no provision for caretaker committee. Yet he swiftly invited them, both the acting chairman, caretaker chairman, and the secretary, who has already been expelled in a PDP convention, expelled from PDP, invited them to come and so he, not unknown to him, when he saw that the appeals hearings will started, they were being held the next week. He now said, no, the invitation to them did not mean recognition. How can an INEC chairman begin to, how do we lawyers, we call it approbate and reprobate at the same time? You invited somebody to represent PDP. When you saw that the appeals hearings have started hearing, then you said, no, the fact that you invited them does not mean you recognize them. So by that, he really shattered this little trust I was beginning to have in his leadership. He dismantled it. And I'm observing whether whatever may be left of the confidence, whether from the way and manner he is going to handle these FCT elections, Rivers State elections, Kano by-elections, whether he is going to go down that road of just destroying any credibility.
All right. Yes. So while we talk about Amopiton and looking at his credibility as would be tested today, let's equally take a look at the very key figure. Nyesom Wike, still a member of the PDP, but has stated that he would not support anyone who does not support the president for the AMAC local government elections in Abuja, which literally means that he does not care about the PDP, that he is more concerned with the APC and the results that would come from it. So don't you think there is this deliberate desire for an implosion within the PDP? Do you see an eventual dying and burying of PDP as all of the cases you have seen continuous?
Well, that is where Makinde and Bala Mohammed stepped into the fray to now expel Nyesom Wike and his likes and his co-travelers from the PDP. But it's just that, and I hope that the courts, after whatever the decisions of the courts will ensure that PDP remains and is a viral opposition. Because you know, why we see these things happening now is because what you fail to do timeously will come and haunt you. Not only you, but each and every one of us. There are things that we need to deal with timeously. We need to take the bold step and cut them out. Once we fail to deal with them timeously, they will come and haunt us at our weakest moments. At our weakest moment. If, for example, you have cancer somewhere, it was detected early, you were negligent, you were slothful, you were weak-minded, you refuse to cut it out. Refusing does not mean it will go away. It's cancer. Cancer is cancer. It will come back and haunt you at your weakest moment.
Yes, Barrister, it is hurting the PDP at its weakest moment now. The cancer infestation illustration you just used has badly infested the PDP right now. Don't you think it is time, as a member of the PDP, to say enough is enough? Let's just allow this PDP go, and let's all move to the new party, which is the ADC. Ireti Kingibe is now with the ADC, and so many other political big wigs who want to still be there come 2027 have all left the PDP for the ADC. Don't you think, Barrister, as a card-carrying member, don't you think it's okay to say, yes, we have fought the good fight, it is becoming a lot difficult, the cancer has infested every organ of the PDP, let's just leave this PDP and move to a new party and start afresh? Don't you think that makes sense?
Of course, it doesn't make sense, because number one, it has not affected every organ of the party, if I may remind you.
Which other organ is remaining?
Finish now. The board of trustees of the party is hale and hearty. Even the committee, the governors forum, is hale and hearty.
How many people are with the governors forum?
Doesn't matter. Even if there are two, there are parties that are thriving without any governor. Balam, for now, the known two governors we have in PDP is Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State and Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State. So they make up the governors forum of PDP. They are hale and hearty. Also, too, the committee of chairman, state chairman of the PDP are healthy. But most importantly, the vast majority of PDP members, in ordinary carrying members like myself and others, we are clear. The truth about the whole thing, this infestation amount is minute.
Really?
If I want to, yes, they may not be involved up to 100. Yes,
okay.
Wait, not. They are not. They are minute. They are in the minority. But what they have been doing is to use the courts, and for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, they believe that they have influence to use the courts to get favorable judgment. That's why when we are doing,
which makes them the majority at this point, because since the majority cannot use the influence of the court to get what it needs and allow Turaki to lead the PDP, the minority are using the influence of the court to subdue the majority with the court. So which means that the minority is over and ahead of the majority at this point.
I have not agreed with them. I said rightly or wrongly. They believe, you can believe something that is right or wrong. They believe that rightly or wrongly, they believe they have influence over Nigerian judiciary to compel them to do their bidding. But I will not accept it until so proven. Thank God this matter now has now, a special panel has been set. You know, in your program, I pleaded with, you remember in your program, I pleaded with the President of Court of Appeal. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
You remember?
Well. Yes.
To hear all the PDP appeals. thankfully, and I should thank the President of Court of Appeal, she hearkened to that plea, that public plea, and she has done that. And these matters have been adjourned for judgment. All the PDP matters, 9 appeals, which I want to commend. This is how our judicial system should work. What we are now watching out for is what manner of judgment will be delivered. That's our next concern. And whether, because the Court of Appeal has always successfully resolved this issue, whether the Supreme Court also will help to resolve these issues as they should be resolved. So for now, I'm sure even the whatever faction, they are even humbled, because from what we gather, they were even playing to delay the hearing of this matter, because the delaying of the hearing of this matter by the Court of Appeal works in their favor. But to their utter surprise, the Court of Appeal has heard this matter and has heard it expeditiously. So, and that's why I want to, for the third time, commend the President of Court of Appeal, that more grace to our elbows. And this is how our judicial system ought to function always, always. Because to do otherwise will amount to showing double standards, which should not and should never be attributed to the Nigerian judiciary. So that is. But
Barrister, are you open to a consensus? Are you open to a merger? Are you open to a merger like the CPC and the ACN did, and they merged to become the APC, and they were able to defeat the PDP? Do you think, as a card-carrying member of the PDP, are you open to a merger where you forget about what interest you have, but going to work with opposition parties, so at least it is possible to defeat the APC come 2027?
Before we answer this question, let me land on what I was saying. So hopefully, if the courts uphold the independence of PDP to conduct their internal affairs, that one effectively means that the Wike and others who had been expelled in the Ibadan Convention on the 16th and 17th of November 2025 stands, and it means that they are expelled. So it means that the cancer has successfully been cleared off the PDP. That's what it will mean. So that's why I'm telling you now that all hope is not lost. Okay. And of course, if you have a cancer patient, you know, I told you about my auntie who was sick, who I lost 2 a.m. Christmas Day, 25th December 2025. She had more than 7 heart attacks. Wow. 7 heart, the CPR for her more than 7 times. And we did not give up on her. We kept fighting until the last moment, until the doctor told us that she has given up. Before we gave up, well, we kept fighting. So you don't fight. You don't have somebody now or somebody that say, oh, cancer has been infected. Why the person is alive? You say, okay, no, forget the person and walk away. You don't do that. You fight. Winners don't quit. Quitters don't quit. You fight on the person until the last breath. You fight. And that's the point I'm making, that PDP is not on the last breath. It still has so many and everything working for it. Okay. In fact, if it's in the, I want to be optimistic that we are in the last stages of clearing the last small tissues of cancer from the system. So that
I love the optimism, Barrister.
That I cannot go to your question. Yes. You know that under this new leadership, under this new dispensation of Turaship leadership, we will not, PDP will not go into a merger, but PDP is open to joining coalitions with other opposition parties to do away with the APC administration. Okay. That's where PDP is going to stand on its feet, stand in its true identity as PDP, People's Democratic Party. But where we find common ground, like, for example, doing away with the visionless APC federal government, we will form alliances with, hopefully, the ADC, even maybe the Labour Party, maybe the NNPP, and other opposition parties to achieve this common altruistic goal and objective for the good and benefit for all citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, so that we can move forward for debt overhang to a growing and a fast-growing and fast-developing first 10 economies of the world.
All right.
Where we were.
All right. Yes.
That is our.
Okay.
And I can boldly speak for my party, because the leadership of my party has timelessly, time and time again, professed this political agenda.
All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister. We truly do appreciate your time, but most importantly, your insight on all the things happening in Nigeria. We truly do hope that we would get to that point in this country where other countries would not make mockery of our political system. In Ghana, for example, they are so good and so great at playing politics. When a particular party is not doing well, Ghanaians will do everything possible in unison to remove that political party and have another party without rancor, without infighting, without anyone plugging to the center. In Nigeria, it is not the same. Every politician is a member of all the parties, and these are areas I would love to think that the government would ensure that in order to save our democracy, save politics in Nigeria, we should have a situation where politicians must stay true to the ideology they profess within the ranks and the files of their party. But I truly do hope that not in any time soon you would defect. I love to believe that, because you have often shown trust for the PDP. I just sincerely hope that in the future you won't defect to another party.
Sorry, number one, I'm not going to defect. I'm not hoping to defect. I'm not a regular politician. But you will appreciate that why Ghana is like that, because they have credible election managers. And that is that was supposed to be Jonathan's lasting and shining legacy, which he did at the risk of leaving office and being able to fulfill his second tenure. But unfortunately, that was supposed to become the fate of Buhari in 2019, but he refused. Buhari refused for that legacy to continue. That is that's why we are, or this issue of credible election management has already been achieved by Jonathan 11 years ago. 11 years ago. Just imagine if that legacy had been allowed to endure, where we will be now, how we would have gone much higher. So there must be consistent good leadership. It's not enough for us to just have one good leader. We must have consistent good leader. And that's why in the last 50 years or so, apart from the two best leaders Nigerians have ever produced is number one, Obasanjo. Second, Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan, who even when leaving 2015, gave his predecessor of another political party robust outlook of all sectors of the economy. He gave him a clear blueprint and made his second in command, Sambo, to lead the transition team, to present the true state of every sector of the economy to the incoming opposition party coming in, so that he can hit the ground running. But unfortunately, the opposition party, Buhari, did not take advantage of it. Instead of them to Osinbajo, the head of their transition program, so that he could take those blueprints serious, they made somebody else the head, and they didn't take all those things serious, and that's why the country went backwards. So thank you for always inviting me.
Thank you.
I'm always at your service. I'm your humble servant, and it's a privilege to always have me in your very, very prized prime time. I'm so grateful, sir.
Thank you so very much, Barrister. I truly do appreciate your time, your insight, your experience, and most importantly, the desire you have to see a better Nigeria. We truly do appreciate all of that. And that's our time for today. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com to read up on everything we've talked about today with Barrister. And you may equally download and share with your friends on all social media platforms and leave your comments behind, so we would equally, read them and internalize them, reply to every questions that you have, so that as a people we can form a community of right-thinking people that would hopefully do good to Nigeria. Have yourself a splendid day. I am Henry Gwebike. Until I see you next time, bye-bye.